Hi, and welcome back to my review of Giants bobblehead. So, I'm sure a lot of you actually own the 1999 Willie Mays bobblehead that started the whole craze of the modern era. This was a promotion back to the Giants. I think they believe 35,000 of these were made and they handed out to everyone who showed up. And based on him being so popular, the rest of them exist. So, he's responsible for everybody, not just the Giants bobbleheads, but all modern bobbleheads. What you probably don't know is the fact that this bobblehead was actually based on something. It wasn't just something that randomly occurred. He's actually based on the Willie Mays bobblehead back in the 1960s. And so they took some subtle hints back from the original design and created a new one. Kind of subtle differences between the two are obviously the fact that these are made of a very advanced epoxy resin, whereas these are made of paper mache. Paper mache, as you know, is basically just tissue paper dipped in some glue, Elmer's glue or whatnot, put together. They smoothed it out, painted it, and it looks nice, but was never designed to last all these years. This is actually Willie Mays' original version, 1962, and I believe, being 2009, this is, if you do the math, close to 50 years old. In any case, he never quite designed to match, and of course, they don't really handle abuse. Actually, they don't handle just being displayed. I think the moisture and humidity in the air will kill them before you even drop them. But if you do drop them, they chip. So it looks like there's some significant damage on the top of its hat there. The fact of actually being bobbled actually causes his neck to hit the side of it all the time, and he's been chipping away all these years. And so there is an autograph on the bottom. Not quite sure if it's an authentic Willie Mays autograph there. You guys can tell that. But it is on there. There is a significant amount of paint fade on this bobblehead. It's also very dirty. I had to clean up a little bit. The Giants logo is a decal. It's not paint. It's a decal. The decal is fading away to a different color. That's why it is the way it is. I'm sure back in 1960 that was actually clear. But it's actually interesting. I mean, very similar. It's got the logo. He's got the cream-colored uniform, black belt, gold belt buckle. It's got a wooden bat, black shoes, orange socks. You turn him around, he's got a black hat. He's got the little orange dot on the top of his hat. And in this one, there's no dot. But no number. Not quite sure there's no number, but there's no number. In any case, that is the 1962 Willie Mays bobblehead, and I was able to do a little bit of research on this to help fill out the story for you. Those of you who are interested in adding the vintage 1960s bobbleheads to your collection, you want to know that there is more than one bobblehead of Willie Mays. And I was able to look this up at a couple resources, and one of the best ways to do this was go buy a book. So I was able to buy a book called Bobblehead Dolls, 1960 to 2000 here, and I was able to get this on Amazon, I think for like $5 or so, because it's kind of interesting. This bobblehead that I have right here, very similar to the one that's right prominently displayed on the front cover here, and it's kind of interesting. Back in the day, Major League Baseball decided to give away some bobbleheads. They had one for every team, I believe mostly for mascots, and so they had 10 for the American League, 10 for the National League, and then they made 4 of them specifically for players, and so they chose the 4 most popular players of the time. This one is, I believe, the Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, Willie Mays, the 1962 that I have, and this is Roberto Clemente. As a side note, this one is probably the hardest to find, most expensive, rarest bobblehead that exists. The 1962 Roberto Clemente. If you have one in mint condition, call me. It's probably worth about $1,000. Very interesting, very collectible. It's definitely a museum piece. Obviously, in 1962, it's probably not in very good condition. It's kind of interesting. I'll flip through the book and you can take a look. They don't last very long. There's a lot of bobbleheads that were made back in the day. Kind of interesting. Most of these were different characters. So there's Oreos, there's the Pirates, the Washington Senators, who barely existed. Also very rare. Not a lot of those around. If you have a Senators bobblehead, also worth a lot of money. There's the Reds. Here's Mickey Mantle. Close up of Roger Maris. Kind of interesting. kind of a couple players. So I'm trying to get to the page where it talks about Willie Mays here. I'll find it in a second. Just bear with me. It's almost there. Oh, it's kind of interesting. Those who kind of freaked out. I'm glad our team, the Giants, don't have, you know, an Indian as our mascot. It's kind of scary looking. There's the Indians, there's the Braves. It's kind of racist, really. Oh, here it is. Here's the page. So, those of you who are interested in adding vintage bobbleheads of the 1960s of the Giants, the three you really want are the Willie Mays set. So, to begin with, there's a 1962 Willie Mays. He's holding his bat kind of at an off angle. They call it the dark-skinned model. It's kind of racist as well. But in any case, that's 1962 Willie Mays. There's a slightly lighter shade Willie Mays that was made, I think, in 62, 64. In this case, he's holding the bat in his hand, in the palm. That's the one that's on the cover here. He's holding the bobblehead. The bobblehead is holding the bat in the palm of his hand, as opposed to gripping it by the hand, though, in the 1962 model. And I believe later on, I think in 68, they also made another version. I think they used the same model. They painted his face slightly lighter. And the difference here is that he is standing on a gold-colored base as opposed to a white-colored base over there. And other difference you can tell is the fact that the 68 model had a number 624 in the back, whereas I think the other two had blank jerseys in the back. In any case, if you're really interested, there's a heck of a lot of history, 40 years of bobblehead culture. So, you know, this whole idea of trying to collect all the ones from 1999 and beyond started really for the vintage era. It's kind of interesting is that the bobblehead collection really started in the 1960s and was in the heyday probably in the late 60s and 70s, and then suddenly from about 75 until 1999 nobody cared. They were just happened to be out there. But now bobbleheads are huge, multi-million-dollar industry that's out there, and it really started back with these guys back in the day. So if you've been collecting, you know, the modern era bobbleheads that are made of epoxy and you think you have them all, not really. There are a couple out there. Only caveat is these are worth a lot. I paid I think $225 for this guy. I outbid 28 other people for the right to own this guy and add it to my collection. I really wanted him. This is probably the best condition bobblehead I could find for the price range of under $600, because I've seen a mint condition Willie Mays 1962 original in mint condition, and the only one I ever found was in a museum. That's how rare these are. They're definitely iconic Americana, highly collectible. And, you know, if you do get one that's in mint condition, I don't know, put it in a humidor. Keep this thing completely sealed and protected because, you know, it's rare, it's expensive, it's iconic. And again, this thing is 1962, so it's way older than I am. In any case, vintage Willie Mays, if you want to add him, he's out there. You'll probably find him on eBay more than you will on Craigslist. Try some of these bobblehead forms. They're definitely out there. And there it is. Willie Mays, beginning in the end, or I guess beginning in the beginning. In any case, there it is. Alright, go Giants. Bye.